Hey everybody, welcome back to CALLOUS Draft League. This is the final match that I'll be covering from Week 3. It is the playing after the drafting between Blizihguh, whatever, I'm just going to call him Blizz, and 48 because I can't pronounce his name in French either. So it's Blizz and 48. Blizz is on the orange team, 48 currently 2-0, trying to get a win streak and get a bonus point for his team, is on the green team. And as always, if you want to see the draft, how we got here, the link to their draft is in the description. So it is a best of 3, as the individual format in this tour always is. The team draft format is just a best of 1, but we can cross that bridge again next week when we go over to team draft mode. Let's get into the game. So like I said, Blizz is on the bottom, and 48 is on the top. Cloyster is actually going to stay in against Tarayama here, knowing that there could be a fighting attack, and it was Brick Break, which did a lot. Could have been Cross Chop, which is even worse, but I mean, that's not a great follow-up. Booming into thin air turns out to be the Mystery Bus, so gets a spike down in exchange for not really anything. Zard did get a blast off on Missy, and obviously the Parish count is going to get him out of there sooner rather than later. We end up with Steelix on Mence briefly, but it becomes Steelix on Fori. Toxic misses there, but of course, even if it had connected, it is immune. And Rapid Spin gets rid of the spike, so that Cloyster, anything that it did, completely out the window now. Straight up advantage for 48. There is a sub from Zard, though, and it might have HP Ice in this. It carries HP Grass a lot more in OU, but this ain't OU. Dragon Claw, sure, that'll suffice as well. Fire Blast was the right move, but unfortunately going to miss on the Umbreon. And now Protect. And Fire Blast, it does of course have more power than Flamethrower, but in addition to imperfect accuracy, one of the issues can be the PP. And that's looking like it very well may be a factor here, since that only did 30% and you're staring down a Protect Wish Pokemon in a sandless game. Can very easily run out of Fire Blasts here. In fact, he's only got 3 left. There's another one. That burn is relevant, though, and that's going to get around Synchronize in this case, because you, of course, can't burn a fire Pokemon. Parish Song happens again here. And Mean Look. Okay, I was going to say better have Roar, but, I mean, Toxic. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. So now Taunt is going to prevent the Roar. I think Blizz got a little greedy there. Probably should have just tried to Roar immediately, but the fact that he didn't do that, gonna leave the Steelix in a not so great spot, and then of course it will succumb to the Parish Song. Gonna be Charizard against Salamence here. Dragon Claw, kind of surprised that 48 didn't just go straight to Umbreon, but I guess he thought it was important to roar away the sub, so that's what he'll do. Mence obviously not going to stay in longer than it needs to against Regice. It did take a turn to get some lefties back with Protect, but out of there soon after. The fact that that Ice Beam did 38%, clearly we're looking at a Guts Hariyama rather than Thick Fat. And here comes Sceptile, Hydro Pump 24%. This team makes a lot of sense for 48. Very stally. He's got a Ghost to protect the spikes. He's got Roarmons. He's got presumably a Leech Seed Mon here, which is obnoxious with spikes. Got an Intimidate user. Looks like a well-built squad there. And crucially for 48, he didn't really use a lot of his super high picks or his round 1 Mons or whatever. So kind of cobbling together something that works without blowing his best resources. So as a whole, it's a good sign. It's a sign of someone who understands the format. And certainly 48 is ahead in this game. It'd be very hard to argue that Blizz has any kind of meaningful advantage or really advantage at all in this game. 48 definitely ahead as far as I can tell. Protect there, sure. It blanks, but I mean the Wish still gets him to full and the burn takes him just a smidge down. Ice Beam just 22% against a very specially bulky Umbreon. Ice Beam again. Good Toxic there. Puts a clock on the Regice, which may or may not have rest, but still, even if you could force it to sleep, that's good. Wow. Okay, that crit mattered. That boom would definitely not kill without it, so Blizz catching a little bit of a break there. Still definitely behind, but helpful crit nevertheless. We know that this Yama is not thick fat, so Fire Blast I think actually would have killed there, but he doesn't pull the trigger and go for it, which is a little bit surprising. There's really not a great switch for the Zard anymore. Even if you go to Mence there, you could just follow up with Dragon Claw, right? So I think he actually should have Fire Blasted, but he may not have picked up on earlier the fact that it is definitely not thick fat and the Yama is guts. I think he was worried the Fire Blast wouldn't kill him there. But if I were Blizz, I would have stayed in and pulled the trigger. Nevertheless, this is where we are instead, and 48 does not establish spikes, but yeah, Blizz has shown again that he is afraid of the Hariyama with the Charizard, and he again gets out of the way. Rock Slide comes down there. That obviously would have rocked the world of the Zard had it stayed in. Hydro Pump coming down, and there is a 4x weak stab Leaf Blade. So Blizz is really on the ropes now. He just has the 2 pokes, one of which is this newly revealed Raikou. So if it is not a Leech Seed Sceptile, maybe Raikou can get there, but this is probably the worst case scenario where the Leech Seed lands and then he substitutes while he's seeded. That, unfortunately, is not going to work out for him, and Sceptile can basically just sub-seed lock him here and stall him out until the Leech Seed kills him. Unless he has rest, but like even then, okay, I'll just switch in and roar you out or pop your sub and threaten you or whatever the case may be. But the sub seed here should be able to largely neutralize this Raikou. And he's seen enough. Out he goes to the Zard. As of course, another substitute comes up. Gonna Leech Seed him and connect. Hidden Power pops it, sure. But more obnoxious Leech Seed action. And yeah, he's just going to sub-seed stall even further. Very, very annoying. Sceptile so fast. Leech Seed's such an obnoxious move. It's not the end of the world when these pokes are not poisoned, or there's not sand, or there's not spikes, or whatever. It's not as busted as it could be, but it's still super duper obnoxious to play against. Especially when you're only down to 2 pokes, as Blizz is. His options are kind of limited here. Connects with Yama. See if he pulls the trigger now. He has not throughout the game. And he will go for it now, but wrong time. Had the opportunity earlier, misses it now. Does follow up with Dragon Claw, and it is enough to kill, so a little bit of catch up for Blizz. And the Zard is still dangerous. The Zard could still win the day, but not when you do that. Clearly, if you're going to stay in, it's to Fire Blast, not to Hidden Power. But he simply never realized that it's a Guts Yama rather than Thick Fat. And now Raikou is the only hope. It does kill the Hariyama, but doesn't Sceptile just click Leaf Blade here? And that will indeed be how the game ends. It never really felt like Blizz was ahead in this one. Even very, very early on with the Cloyster, yeah, he got the spike briefly, but then he boomed into the Misdreavus, and he only got the spike down as far as value, and then the 4 he spun it away not too long after that, and yeah, I mean, Blizz just never really caught up. So game 1 in the books for 48, and if he can win game 2 or a theoretical game 3, he will be 3-0, and he will get a sweet bonus point for the green team. Let's move over to game 2. Players in the same positions with Blizz on the bottom and 48 on the top. This time it's Regirock and Smeargle. Spore, and it does not have Lumberry to wake up and click T-Wave or Rock Slide there, whatever the case may be. Going to be Spikes and then Boom respectively. Whether it's a roll or not, I don't know, but the D-Knight lives at just 1%. And out of the way it goes. Flamethrower there. Not very effective against Regirock, but he is going to sub up, and it does learn Focus Punch, believe it or not. And Blizz, unfortunately, is going to T-Wave into a substitute user, not where he wants to be. It's not Focus Punch, Hidden Power, Grass, or something. Earthquake pops the sub. Now Rock Slide pops the sub. Fair enough. Sub again. And Earthquake. Going to go down to Papaya Berry. He's also now in Blaze range, if that matters. And here comes Houndoom. And the hidden power certainly looks like it's grass based on what it's doing to the Houndoom here. And evidently he doesn't have anything better to do to the Houndoom because he clicks it again. The Typhlosion bites it, and Blizz is out to a nice little lead in this game. But it is another substitute Firemon for 48. This time it's Blizihguh. Hasn't shown a fighting move to insta-delete the Houndoom, but he does have, there we go, he does have Salic, which is sign of a reversal. Now, he's not at 1 HP, so it's not the nut reversal, but it's pretty powerful. Regirock drops there. Doesn't seem like he's got a fantastic answer. Maybe Ludicolo's the guy? No, it's just going to die from 94%. Okay, how about Kadabra? Nice resistance. But no. Okay, surely Omastar will live with its fighting weakness. No? Who knew? And, of course, the 7% Dragonite, fighting resist and all, wasn't about to live either. So that is a much faster game than the previous one. The other one's 63 turns, this one just 17 turns. I guess it would have been 18 had he actually sent out the D-Knight, but pretty damn quick game either way. And it is yet another one of these games where Blizihguh just gets there. He's the man. And yeah, this is at least the third one that I can remember where Blizihguh just gets there on his own. Almost always with a reversal set, but nevertheless, Blizihguh a very, very dangerous Mon, and 48 doesn't even show half his team or have to go to game 3. He took this set down in pretty one-sided fashion. I thought the draft was even-ish, maybe small advantage for 48, but I thought Blizz drafted pretty well, drafted fine. But when it came to the actual play, it just 48 seemed to outclass him. Well, no more to say on this one. Relatively straightforward set. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but we will be moving over to coverage of Week 4, which is going to heavily feature the team draft format, and you guys will see that in the coming days. But in the meantime, please hit the like button if you've been enjoying, this video, but just the tournament as a whole, and I will see you guys in the next video.